Vitali Volodymyrovych Klitschko is a Ukrainian politician and former professional boxer who currently serves as Mayor of Kiev and head of the Kiev City State Administration. He has held both offices since June 2014. Klitschko is a former leader of the Petro Poroshenko Bloc and a former member of the Ukrainian Parliament. As a boxer he held the WBC, WBO and The Ring magazine heavyweight titles, and has twice been conferred as Champion Emeritus by the WBC. Klitschko became actively involved in Ukrainian politics in 2005 and combined this with his professional boxing career until his departure from boxing in mid-December 2013. Klitschko was the first professional boxing world champion to hold a PhD degree. Klitschko was known for his powerful punches and durable chin. With an 87.23% knockout percentage rate, he holds one of the best knockout-to-fight ratio of any champion in heavyweight boxing history, and is the 8th longest reigning heavyweight champion of all time. During his professional career, Klitschko was never knocked down in any fight, and his two losses came via a shoulder injury and a deep cut below his eye, which were recorded as corner retirement and technical knockout losses respectively. In both fights, however, he was leading on the judges' scorecards. His power and his possession of a doctorate have led to his nickname, Dry Iron Fist. Klitschko formally began his political career in 2006 when he placed second in the Kiev mayoral race. In 2010, Klitschko founded the party Ukrainian Democratic Alliance for Reform and was elected into parliament for this party in 2012. He was a leading figure in the 2013-2014 Euromaidan protests, and he announced his possible candidacy for the Ukrainian presidency but later withdrew and endorsed Petro Poroshenko. He was elected mayor of Kiev on the 25th of May 2014. Klitschko headed the election list of the winner of the 2014 Ukrainian parliamentary election, the Petro Poroshenko Bloc, but he gave up his parliamentary seat to stay on as mayor of Kiev. On the 28th of August 2015, the UDAR party merged into Petro Poroshenko Bloc. Klitschko thus became the new party leader. Klitschko was re-elected as mayor on 15 November 2015. Klitschko's younger brother, Vladimir, held the WBA, IBF, WBO, EBO and The Ring heavyweight titles, kickboxing and amateur boxing career. Originally, Klitschko was an amateur kickboxer with a record of 34-1 with 22 knockouts. In 1992, he was defeated in the final of the European Kickboxing Championships +8 9kg light contact division by Englishman Pele Reid when he was knocked out by a spin kick to the jaw. In 1993, he defeated Ryushi Yanagwasawa in the Japanese mixed martial arts promotion Pancras under WKA special rules via a 5 decision. In 1994, he defeated Richard Vince by second round KO to retain his ISKA World Super Heavyweight title. In 1995, he was defeated by knockout at the hands of William van Roosmalen, father of current kickboxer Robin van Roosmalen, in a kickboxing match in Ukraine. Defeated Gitas Juskevicius RSC2. Defeated Attila Levin Rep 2. Defeated Rene Mons PTS. Lost to Alexei Lesin PTS. 1995 Super Heavyweight Gold Medalist at the Military World Championships in Ariccia, Italy. Results: defeated Kenneth Horsley Ret 1. Defeated Svilan Rusinov RSC1. Defeated Drago Majikwo. Defeated Alexei Lesin PTS. In 1996, he turned professional and compiled a record of 34-1 with 22 knockouts. He was a world champion 6 times. professional boxing career. As an amateur, Klitschko won the super heavyweight championship at the First World Military Games in Italy in 1995. In the same year he won a silver medal at the World Championships in Berlin, Germany, where he was defeated by Russia's Alexei Lesin in the final. In his autobiography, published in Germany in 2004, the boxer revealed that he tested positive for a banned steroid in 1996. He attributed the presence of the drug to treatment of a leg injury, but was dismissed from the Ukrainian boxing team and missed the Atlanta Olympics. His brother Vladimir moved up from heavyweight to super heavyweight to take his place in the squad and won the Olympic gold medal. His amateur record was 195-15 with 18 knockouts. Klitschko vs. He. First heavyweight title. Klitschko began his professional boxing career in 1996, winning his first 24 fights by either early knockout or technical knockout. He and Vladimir signed with the German athlete promotion company Universum, with both brothers holding PhDs and being multilingual. The refined and articulate personalities made for mainstream marketability when they moved to Germany and Universum. In time, they became national celebrities in their adopted home country. In his 25th pro fight on the 26th of June 1999, Klitschko won the WBO heavyweight title from Herbie Hyde of the United Kingdom by a second-round knockout. He successfully defended the title twice. He defeated Ed Mahone by knockout in the third round and beat Abid Sullivan, who retired after the ninth round. Klitschko vs. Bird. By April 2000, Vitali Klitschko was unbeaten and a rising star in the heavyweight division, having won all 27 of his contests by knockout. On the 1st of April, Klitschko had a third title defense against the American Chris Bird, who was a late replacement. Bird made himself a difficult target and tried to thwart Klitschko's offense by being elusive. Klitschko won most of the rounds and was heading towards a comprehensive points victory when he suffered a serious shoulder injury. After the ninth round, Klitschko notified his corner that he had a shoulder pain and threw in the towel, thus handing Klitschko his first defeat and awarding Bird the win by RTD. At the time of the stoppage, Klitschko had won 8 of 9 rounds on one judge's scorecard and 7 of 9 on the two others. Klitschko, who was later diagnosed with a torn rotator cuff, received much criticism for quitting the fight. Klitschko rebounded from his loss to Bird by reeling off 5 victories in a row, earning himself a shot at WBC heavyweight champion Lennox Lewis. Klitschko vs. Lennox Lewis. The fight between Lewis and Klitschko was to take place in December 2003, and Klitschko signed for a tune-up fight on the 21st of June 2003 as part of the undercard of Lewis' fight with Kirk Johnson for the EBO title. As the WBC would not sanction the fight for that title, Johnson, however, pulled out of the fight due to injury, and Klitschko, due to his being in training for a fight on the same day as Lewis, took the fight on short notice. Immediately after he accepted, the WBC elected to sanction the fight as a title match, and Lewis of the Ring title was also up for grabs in addition to his lineal title. Klitschko, a 4-1 underdog, dominated the early going with many harder punches. He stunned Lewis in the second round with 2 hard rights, leaving a cut under on Lennox's left eye. In the third, Lewis landed a big right hand that opened a deep cut above Klitschko's left eye. Before the 7th round, the ringside doctor inspected the wound and deemed it severe enough to threaten eye damage if struck again, stopping the fight despite Klitschko's pleas to continue. Klitschko was ahead on all 3 judges' scorecards 58-56 at the time of the stoppage, but because the wound was a result of punches from Lewis, Louis won by technical knockout. Negotiations for the 6th of December rematch began. After negotiations collapsed, Vitali defeated Kirk Johnson in a WBC eliminator bout on the 6th of December date, setting up a mandatory rematch with Lewis. In January 2004, the WBC announced that it would strip Lewis of the belt if he let pass the 15th of March deadline to sign for a rematch with Vitali. Shortly thereafter, Lewis announced his retirement and vacated the title. For years after this fight, Klitschko would still occasionally call out Lewis, despite the fact that Lewis has been retired since early 2004, for a rematch. Around this time, the Klitschko brothers moved from Hamburg, Germany to Los Angeles. In January 2004, they notified Universum that they would not re-sign when the contracts expired in April. Universum sued the brothers, arguing that the recent injuries had triggered a clause binding them beyond April. The suit was ultimately resolved in favor of the Klitschko's in November 2009. Klitschko vs. Sanders. Second heavyweight title. Klitschko faced South African Corey Sanders on the 24th of April 2004 for the WBC Heavyweight Championship and the ring belts that had been vacated by Lewis. Sanders had stopped younger brother Vladimir in the second round on the 8th of March 2003. Klitschko was rocked in round 1 by Sanders, but by using upper body movement and accurate punching he broke down Sanders, forcing referee John Scholl to stop the bout. Vitali landed 60% of his power punches. Klitschko vs. Williams. Klitschko's first WBC title defense was against British boxer Danny Williams. Williams had become suddenly marketable from a KO over Mike Tyson in round 4. Klitschko scored a technical knockout against Williams in 8 rounds on the 11th of December 2004, while wearing an orange cloth to show support for the Ukrainian presidential opposition movement. Klitschko knocked Williams down in the first, third, 7th, and 8th rounds before the fight was stopped. Immediately afterward, Klitschko dedicated his victory to democracy in his native Ukraine and also to the Ukrainian presidential candidate Viktor Yushchenko, whom he supported in the 26th of December 2004 election revote. 2005 to 2007 retirement. On the 9th of November 2005, Klitschko announced his retirement from professional boxing and vacated his title. He had been training to fight Asim Rahman. However, 9 days before the fight, he injured his leg while sparring. He snapped his anterior cruciate ligament, which with surgery would take up to a year to heal and possibly prove career-ending. To avoid keeping the title out of use, he retired. The WBC was grateful for his consideration. On other occasions he cited regrets about his suddenly mounting injuries, a desire to leave the sport while still on top, and political aspirations in his home country of Ukraine. Following his retirement, the WBC conferred Champion Emeritus status on Klitschko, and assured him he would become the mandatory challenger if and when he decided to return. Klitschko vs. Peter. Third heavyweight title. On the 3rd of August 2008, the WBC awarded Klitschko a chance to regain his WBC heavyweight title. After Vitali's retirement, his younger brother had established dominance in the division, winning 2 of the 4 world titles available. The reigning WBC champion was Samuel Peter. At the time, there was interest in a potential Peter vs. Vladimir unification match. Instead, Vitali took advantage of his Champion Emeritus status and secured a title challenge against Peter. The fight was arranged on the 11th of October 2008 at O2 World, Berlin. It would be one of the most anticipated heavyweight fights in the past few years. Both men had a rightful claim to being the champion, and the stakes for the future of the heavyweight division were high. Despite some questioning Vitali's decision to return after 4 years, he managed to regain his title in dominating fashion. Klitschko had Peter intimidated from the first round and stunned him with accurate hard punches. Klitschko kept the hard-punching Nigerian off with an effective left jab and took control in the center of the ring. Over 8 rounds, Klitschko completely dismantled and outfought the younger champion. After the 8th round, Peter slumped on his stool, shook his head and asked that the bout be stopped. With the Samuel Peter victory, Klitschko technically became one of the few men to ever hold a version of the World Heavyweight Championship 3 times: WBO, WBC and WBC. Klitschko vs. Gomez, Areola and Johnson. On the 21st of March 2009, Klitschko defeated Juan Carlos Gomez by TKO in the 9th round. Gomez tried to use his movement to thwart Vitali, but seemed unable to cope with the power and physical strength of his opponent. As the rounds progressed, Klitschko began imposing himself on Gomez more and more. Gomez soon became wary of Klitschko's power and also began to tire physically. By the 6th round, Vitali was in total control. The end came when the referee stopped the fight in the 9th round as Gomez appeared unable to withstand any more hits. On the 26th of September, Klitschko earned a one-sided TKO victory over Chris Areola at the Staples Center in Los Angeles when Areola's trainer, Henry Ramirez, asked the referee to stop the fight. Areola was considered at the time one of the division's hardest punchers. However, Klitschko kept Areola at bay with his left jab and hit him almost at will with his right. Areola had been influenced by Samuel Peter's defeat to Klitschko in 2008, in which Peter had tried to box from the outside. He therefore employed a game plan which involved applying constant pressure to Vitali in order to force him into a high-tempo fight. Despite his best efforts, the bout became one-sided very quickly. Klitschko consistently proved himself faster, sharper and much fitter than Areola. On the 12th of December, Vitali defeated Kevin Johnson by unanimous decision, winning almost every round. Johnson, a skillful fighter, tried to negate Klitschko's strength with angles and head movement. Though he proved hard to hit, he failed to launch any sustained attack of his own. After the Johnson bout, Klitschko's camp began negotiations for a potential fight with former WBA champion Nikolai Valuev, but the match failed to materialize due to economic disagreements. Klitschko vs. Sosnovsky, Briggs and Solis. On the 29th of May 2010, Vitali Klitschko defeated Polish heavyweight contender Albert Sosnovsky by KO at 2:30 in round 10 of 12. Sosnovsky was knocked down by a right hand in the 10th round, prompting referee Jane Adey to immediately wave off the fight. The fight took place at Veltins Arena, Gelsenkirchen, Nordrhein-Westfalen, Germany. Vitali Klitschko weighed in at 112 kilograms, while Sosnovsky weighed in at 110 kilograms. This voluntary defense was Vitali's 4th defense of the WBC heavyweight title. Sosnovsky was the No. 11 ranked heavyweight according to the WBC prior to this bout. On the 17th of August 2010, it was announced that Klitschko would defend his WBC title against Shannon Briggs on the 16th of October of that year. Klitschko completely dismantled his challenger with superior hand speed. Briggs struggled to land any meaningful punches, as Klitschko won every round decisively. After a few rounds, Briggs was receiving a vicious and sustained beating which caused him serious facial injuries. Considering the beating he was receiving, there was some suggestion that the referee should have stopped the bout during the last few rounds. Klitschko had retained his belt with official scores of 120 to 107, 120 to 105, and 120 to 107. During the post-fight interview, the American boxer Briggs said, "I fought George Foreman, I fought Lennox Lewis, and Vitali's the best." Quote. While Klitschko did not knock down Briggs, the latter collapsed after the fight and was hospitalized with facial fractures and a torn biceps. Klitschko's next fight was against mandatory challenger Odlanier Solis. The bout was tentatively scheduled for March 2011. On the 11th of January, it was officially confirmed that the fight between Klitschko and Solis was going to take place in Cologne, Germany on the 19th of March 2011. The fight lasted less than one whole round, as a right hand to Solis's temple wobbled Solis, who then twisted his knee. Klitschko won by KO. Klitschko vs. Adamek, Chisora and Chal, now aged 40. Klitschko retained his WBC heavyweight title against Thomas Adamek on the 10th of September 2011 in Poland, winning by TKO in the 10th round. The referee stopped the bout after Adamek received punishing blows and was ruled out, as he was no longer able to defend himself. After turning 41 on the 19th of July 2012, Vitali became one of the oldest heavyweight champions in history. Despite having a 4-year hiatus from the sport, Vitali has proven to be a remarkably effective and dominant heavyweight champion once again. Alongside his brother Vladimir, he also fights on for their shared ambition of holding all 4 heavyweight championship belts together, an ambition that was realized on the 2nd of July 2011 when brother Vladimir defeated He to win the WBA heavyweight championship. In January 2012, he was awarded WBC Fighter of the Year for 2011. Klitschko was in negotiations for a possible bout with former WBA heavyweight title holder He on the 3rd of March 2012. After Vladimir Klitschko had to cancel his fight with Jean-Marc Mormic, it was thought that Vitali was likely to fight on the 25th of February 2012. Sources in Germany reported that he was likely to fight British contender Derek Chisora on the 18th of February 2012 in Olympiahalle, Munich, Bayern. It was confirmed on the 12th of December 2011 that Derek Chisora would be Vitali Klitschko's next opponent. Vitali Klitschko retained his WBC championship belt unanimously in a dominant display in Munich. The fight was fought against a backdrop of antagonism displayed by the contender Derek Chisora at the weigh-in. Chisora slapped Klitschko across the face, causing a red mark to be left. The next day, Chisora spat water over the face of Vitali's brother Vladimir. Vitali won the majority of the rounds, boxing a disciplined fight with changing angles and superior footwork. Chisora, constantly coming forward delivering punishing body shots, failed to wear down the older man. The scores were 118 to 110, 118 to 110, 119 to 111. The next day, Vitali visited a hospital to check his shoulder, claiming he injured it in the fight. A doctor confirmed a ligament tear was suffered in his left shoulder. Klitschko said he suddenly lost strength in the left hand and was forced to only use his right. The injury was believed to have happened in the 2nd or 3rd round. Klitschko's trainer, Fritz Zadanek, believes this is the same kind of injury Vitali suffered in his fight with Bird. At the post-fight press conference, a brawl ensued between He and Chisora. After the altercation, Chisora challenged He to a fight in the ring and said, "I'm going to shoot David He." Chisora was later arrested at a German airport along with his coach, Don Charles. His comments and actions were later condemned by Frank Warren, his promoter, and Vladimir Klitschko. On the 2nd of July 2012, it was announced that Vitali Klitschko will defend his WBC heavyweight title on the 8th of September at the Olympic Indoor Arena in Moscow, Russia. His opponent for the fight was the then undefeated Manuel Cha 21-0. Klitschko won the fight via technical knockout when Cha had to be stopped due to a cut received from Vitali's punches. Klitschko was expected to face Stiven in a mandatory title defense, but was forced to pull out due to injury. Stepping back from boxing. On the 15th of December 2013, Vitali Klitschko stepped back from boxing. He was announced Champion Emeritus, which means that if he wants to return to boxing, he can fight the WBC heavyweight champion without having any fights beforehand. But, Klitschko stated, "That is something I currently cannot imagine." The WBC title was vacated and later contested by Chris Arreola and Stiven. Commenting on his decision, he stated, "My focus is on politics in Ukraine and I feel the people that need me." He also added, "I thank the WBC and its president Jose Suleiman for the support in our battle for democracy and freedom in Ukraine."